Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam, Trailokyam Sacharacharam, Tatpadam Darshitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Has anyone attained it? Yeah. So Bhagavan says in the 10th verse,
Vitaraga bhaya krodhaha Manmaya mamupashritaha Bahavo jnana tapasa Puta madbhavamagataha
Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Free from these three. And Vita, Gurudev used to explain very beautifully. No? Beet gaye din. Means they were there. Even in the greatest saint, they were there. So don't despair that you have it right now. But today itself, it can be a matter of the past. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Freed from Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. Raga, attachment. Bhaya, fear. Krodha, anger. In details, you will be studying in Manashodhanam. It came today? Already, isn't it not? I said Guruji will do most of my. But attachment is called as raga in Sanskrit. It is born only out of our false imaginations and expectations. When we've got likes and dislikes, we color something that this will give me joy or this will not give me joy or will give me sorrow. That which I imagine or I like or think that it is going to give me joy, you cling on to it, you keep thinking about it, you pursue it, you want it, you desire it. And what you desire, the fear comes of not gaining it. So fear comes. When you gain it, there is greed, and with greed comes more desire and more anxiety, fear, stress. These are all expressions of fear, mental agitations. And towards anything or being that seems to be an obstacle towards your object of desire, towards that is all-consuming fire of anger. And why these three are just mentioned when there are hordes of negativities? Because they are root of all negativities. Yeah? And how to reduce our attachments? Karma Yoga was pointed out. Yeah? Therefore, some people say that these 3 points that are pointed out, the 3 paths of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which we have said are not 3 separate paths, but through Karma Yoga, as our attachments end, so also our fear and anger. So Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Manmaya. We say, Swamiji, we can't meditate. Yeah, then we expect some magical, opening of the third eye, or something, being touched and then, bless and something will happen, or, Kundalini will rise or something like that, we imagine. No? Manmaya. Our mind is not single-pointedly in me here, meaning the self or even the Lord of the universe. Mind is not there. And manmaya. How can your mind be completely in someone until and unless it's not completely in love with that person? Therefore, manmaya means bhakti. Mam upashrita. And why does our mind does not remain steady in the Lord? Because we don't depend only on Bhagwan. Whoever we depend upon or have the notion or the attachment that this will give me happiness. Even now, people say, we tried to meditate, I got initiation also, but and I got my Guru's special touch also, but my mind is not meditating. How can I keep? It's not that I'm not devoted, it's not that I don't want to. But our ashraya is not Bhagwan. Yeah. We want happiness from family, friends, etc. We depend on money. Whatever we depend upon, our mind will be there. So, mam upashritaha. Intellect completely, keeping me as a goal, surrendered to the goal. Bhavo jnana tapasa. And many, through this jnana tapasaha, where Jnana tapas. Now, with tapas, when we use the word, we understand austerity. Austerity, first thing we only know is fasting. And for most people, fasting is the day of feasting. It's not a fast, it's a farce. Yeah. In fact, where they have these long, one month fast, the doctors are very busy, especially gastrologists. Yeah. And that is not because of starvation, but because of overeating. We only understand tapas as fasting, some denial. But the word tapa, one means that which burns, heats up, fires up. And just as gold, when it is placed in, or the ore of gold is placed in fire, the more it burns, the more the shine of the gold comes, because it takes away all the dross. Again, another beautiful means, tapa means developing your willpower, concentrating your mind, denial of that which distracts your mind. All this is called as tapa. But one beautiful example of tapa is, if you switch the two words around, it becomes pata. Pata, fall. What is our fallen condition today? That we are a slave of our mind. We consider ourselves to be limited. We are dependent on such small things for our joy and happiness, including that perfect masala chai, which you don't get in the ashram, but you probably think it is there outside, in the stall, which your legs keep on going, and just when you go there, Swamiji stands there. Not in the store, of course. So that by which we rise from our present fallen, dependent, bound state to our glorious, shining, brilliant, divine state of consciousness, those means are called as tapa. The highest form of tapa is As the Upanishad says, Jnana eva tapaha. Knowledge itself is the greatest tapa. Because later on Bhagwan himself is going to say that there is no greater purifier than knowledge. So that which purifies us, that which makes us single-pointed, that which lifts us is called as tapa. So, Jnana eva tapa. That knowledge itself is tapa. To keep our mind steady in that knowledge, that meditation is called as tapa, as you will study in Taittiriya Upanishad. Huh? And tapa is not just denial of something, it is your steadiness towards your goal. For that, you don't get distracted, therefore, denial of the senses or the discipline of the senses. It's not the torturing. And in fact, when you study about sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, tapa in the 18th chapter of the 18th chapter, no? 17th. 17th chapter and 18th chapter speak about sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, and where they talk about tapa, and you know what under sattvic tapas Bhagwan points out? It is firm adherence to your duty. Not going and leaving your duty and then thinking that you are, fasting and then, and you're just sitting doing nothing, sitting on a rock and becoming a rock. Yeah? In fact, Gurudev tells us of a very interesting incident that when he went to Taponji Maharaj at Uttar Kashi, at that time Uttar Kashi was not like a city now that it has become. Yeah. Taponji Maharaj had told him that it is not even like Rishikesh, because at least there you have Swami Shivanandaji's ashram. Here there is no place to stay. You have to find your way to stay. And even when Taponji Maharaj went, he had just made one small little hut outside Kashi Vishwanath temple. That place they will still show you if you go to. One day we'll have a camp in Uttar Kashi. Come for that also next year, October. And there he would stay. Finally, somebody made for him a small little mud hut. That mud hut is still there on this hillock. He didn't have any ashram. He told that you are very enthusiastic to gain this knowledge, but you will have to fend for yourself. You'll have to get food for yourself. Even though out of his compassion, Taponji Maharaj had spoken to Kali Kamliwala Kshetra that, this Swami comes, because there also lines used to take place. People would hardly get anything. As Gurudev would say, you would get 2 hard, freezed rotis. Until unless you soaked it in the Ganga, you couldn't eat it, because it was not like khakra crispy. It was just hard. And you would get dal where there would be 2, not like your dal, so concentrated. 2 dal pieces floating on it, just to give you what you call health food, green tea effect. Where you put 2 like that, So you had to live like that. He said, I will do it. Because there's no teacher like Taponji Maharaj. And he just wanted that knowledge. So he said, I am coming. And he only has told us the story, and he would tell it humorously, obviously it's not. But after a few days, he goes to Taponji Maharaj and he says, I'm not staying here. He said, you made this long journey, you came here, you insisted when I discouraged you. No. Now what happened to you? Like most people, after 3 days, okay, chalo, we'll miss this class now, chalega. Yeah. We'll take photographs of the mountains. Now that Swamiji is inside, we can go and have chai outside. Has something like this happened? He said, what happened to you now? Yeah. He said, no, I can't. The typical young person, no, I don't think I can't. This knowledge is not for me. I don't think so I can survive here. He said, what happened to you? He said, because I can't do this tapas. So he said, what do you call as tapas? He said, 4-5 days I went, had cold water bath in the Ganga. I have got fever, I am trembling. How am I going to live here for so many years? I remember when I joined the ashram and I was bitten, I was on the ground floor and pawai mosquitoes, And whole night I couldn't sleep. I was thinking, how am I going to survive here 2 years, with these mosquitoes biting you all night. So he said, how am I can't even have bath. So he said, what makes you think that just having cold water bath is tapas? He said, see, there are such sadhus here. And there's one sadhu, I've been observing him. Yeah, morning, 4 o'clock, he goes into the cold Ganga. He stands there. Yeah. And till midday. It's worse, when you're in the cold water itself, your body gets used to. But half the body is in the sun and half the body is in the cold. And when from the cold Ganga you come out into the sun, or from the sun you go into the cold Ganga, those of you who've been there, you know what it means. I know. Yeah? He said, this man is living like this. When they are such tapasvis here, I can't do all this tapas. I'm already freezing with the thought of it. So he said, then why don't you go and make him guru and find out how he does that tapas, so you can do that tapas. Because without tapas, you cannot realize the truth. No? So he waited till sharp 12 o'clock when the sun comes to the zenith. He comes out for his bhiksha. He goes to, So the young Swami Chinmayananda stood there, waited for him to come up, did namaskar to him and said, Babaji, how come you are able to do this tapas? So he told him, that in my village, when I was a young man, I fell in love with the zamindar, landowner's daughter. I was only the laborer's son. And when my could-be father-in-law found out that we two are in love, he had me whipped, thrown out of the village, got her married to someone else, and I was going to commit suicide when I met a sadhu, and he said, don't commit suicide. He said, I only want her, He said, if you stay in the water, whole day, cold Ganga, with the sun on your head, then next life, you will be able to marry her, and he will be your servant whom you can whip. Arey, everybody is a tapasvi. All of you. Yeah. To go and eat pakoras, what tapas you have to do? Yeah. Single pointed, watching that nobody else is watching you, and then you go there, and then you wait, and then somebody goes there and they say, all pakoras are already finished. Arey, but nobody was supposed to go there, but pakoras are all finished. And just when your pakoda plate comes, Swamiji comes walking from there. I just came here, to get some water bottle. Yeah. What tapas we don't do? Yeah. When they are in love with someone, bhook mit jati hai. For God, they cannot fast. But two lovers, when they go to the restaurant, all food is there. But look at the tapas. Don't say that you can't do tapas. Then when he came to Taponji Maharaj and told this hilarious story, that you go through these suffering for what? That is not called as tapas. He told him that you are listening to me, you are understanding me, you are inspired. This is tapas. That's why Gurudev didn't bring us to the ashram for us to suffer and and don't eat good food, etc. The fact that you are able, this subtle knowledge, that you are able to be inspired and you are understanding, this is what is jnana tapas. Jnana eva tapaha. Jnana tapasa. Puta, purified, freed from all this raga, bhaya, krodha, which means with no mental agitation, no extrovertedness. Mad bhavam agataha. Such people attain my state. And my state, whether it's Ram or Krishna, both the meaning is nothing but bliss. They attain my state of peace and bliss. So in the first quarter, Karma Yoga, second quarter, Bhakti Yoga, and the last quarter, Jnana Yoga, and in the third quarter, Jnana Yoga, last quarter, realization. One verse he's covered it all. Okay. Now Bhagavan goes to explain that in case you still not understood what is the divinity of Bhagavan's action. So a question arises that he says that many, he says, Bhava, have attained my state. So is it possible to attain that state of godliness? Infinitude, he says, many. But these are the three things. Therefore, when you are doing your sadhana, have your attachments to the external world reduced? Has your fear, anxieties, worries, not carelessness, but has your anxieties, worries, fears, lack of confidence, have they reduced? Is your mind on Bhagwan? Whom do you love more? Who you have faith in more? Whom do you depend on more? Yeah? And jnana tapasaha, are you constantly remembering that knowledge and where application is required, applying it? This is your test of spiritual progress, and this is what is to be achieved. Is your knowledge constantly with you? Or like Karna, when you need it, it's forgotten. No? Now, Bhagwan, some gain it, some don't gain it. Are you partial? Are you partial? So Bhagwan now explains, I am not partial. Bhagwan says,
Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanuvartante manushyaः partha sarvashah.
okay, I can understand that there are people who do not even seek you. But so many people are so religious, so devoted, going to all places of worship and pilgrimages, and even crying out to you and all that. How come they don't attain you? So Bhagavan says, please understand, I am there to bless everyone. But ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. That whoever approaches me, connects with me, or wants of me, whatever people, ye yatha mam prapadyante. In which manner people approach me, tan tatha eva bhajamyaham. I give them, reward them accordingly. And please understand, everybody might come to a temple, everybody might go to a church, mosque, etc. Many people might put vibhutis and chandans. Yeah. But mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. Hey Partha, oh my dear one, hey Partha, yeah, that people tread my path. Mama vartam, my path. Anuvartante, they tread, they follow. So human beings follow my path. Manushyaha, they follow my path in very different ways. Not that I am partial. To understand, electricity is there. Depends what you plug into the electric socket. If now by evening, yeah, you feel that this room, because everybody is feeling cold, keeps it closed, and you're feeling hot and stuffy, and that gives you excuse to go to sleep. Yeah. Open the windows, fresh oxygen will come inside. Is it not? Or even if they are closed, if it's very cold and you put on the fan, you will get even more cold. Is it not? But if you plug in a heater, you will get heat. So, how does electricity serve you? Bhaja. How does electricity bless you, reward you? Depends on what and in which manner you plug in. Therefore, when we go to the Lord with the faith that we pray we'll get what we want. I'm saying simple only, And yet, we get what we want. So people appear to be very devoted, but how many go to the Lord that I want you? Yeah, I want to know you. I want to realize you. I want to be with you. We only go to get something out of Bhagwan. That also we get. But at least from that we must get the faith that He is there and He is there to bless me. And if I ask Him for the infinite, even the infinite He will give to me. Because one who loves will give the entire world to you. And therefore, really speaking, people don't seek me. Acha? Why, Bhagwan? If you are so great, you are so mighty, people come to you also for everything. So you are the owner, Lakshmi Pati. They come to you for Lakshmi. Yeah? If they get Lakshmi Pati, Lakshmi will be there anyway, right? So why don't they come to you? So Bhagwan explains.
Kangshantah karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataah kshipram himanushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja
Of course, the traditional commentaries would call devatas as the various devatas of rain, wind, etc., which through karma, which means through yajna, etc., are worshipped to get, where they say rain for agriculture, etc. That is the meaning. But the deeper meaning of that is Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim yajante iha devataha. Here in this world of human beings, manushe loke, wanting satisfaction from actions in this world to get some pleasurable object or to gain some goal, people worship the various devatas. Why? Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Because through action, people have the feeling that I will get my results soon. Now, really in this world also to attain something also you have to struggle for. Yeah? But this unknown truth, reality, infinitude, it seems to be beyond our comprehension, and we think what much tapas we'll have to do, right? So rather, live your life right now. Yeah. Worship also if you want to, but enjoy life. Deeper meaning, Gurudev explains, devata, senses. When our senses come in contact with sense object, immediately what we get is pleasure. It's not happiness, but it is pleasure. And we find joy in those pleasures. And to get the objects of our desire, according to our likes and dislikes, we have to do action. And therefore, we have this faith that if I do action and I produce the results, I will be happy. And immediately our mind has got addicted to that, and therefore to action. Therefore nowadays people say, you know what, I'm a workaholic. Any holic is bad. Yeah? So therefore, people do all different things. See, when it comes to wanting something, people do also elaborate rituals also, don't they? Go climbing barefooted for Tirth Yatra so that you can get, these days, daughters. Yeah? Olden days, son. What tapas we do? And we said that we will do this action, then we will get something that will give us joy and happiness. And immediately, through the contact of the senses with the sense objects of your like, you get pleasure. And other than those pleasures, what other joy and happiness we gain? But those of you who have had satsang, then satsangatve nisangatvam, nisangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. That when we have satsang, the company of those who know the truth or devotees, and when our mind is turned towards the truth, then there is detachment from the objects. Then our mind recognizes that which is permanent and steady. And then when we recognize that, then there is no bondage, because we are no longer a slave for happiness to the world of ever-changing objects. Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Now, in this world, people do different actions according to their nature, their swabhava, their temperament. And therefore, all human beings were classified, not divided, into 4 molds. Now they have that, what they call archetypes. What are they talking about, archetypes? Caste. No? Not C-A-S-T-E, C-A-S-T. According to our past actions and our desires, our qualities, etc., we all have a certain personality in which we have cast ourselves. According to our karma and according to our guna. And Bhagavan says that
चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्यकर्तारमव्ययम्.
all these beings in the world of different types, seeking different objects of desires, doing different actions of different temperament, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. Bhagavan didn't create the caste system. Okay? Today a lot of mischief is being done. At least know your scriptures so that they cannot play with the minds, your minds and your children and grandchildren minds. All the types of beings, according to their karma, their action, and their gunas, their vasanas, their qualities, all these types of beings, all the 4 types of beings been created by me. Means I have bestowed on them all their various equipments as well as their life field of their action. The world has been created by me. But tasya kartaramapi mam, even though I am the karta, the doer, the author or the creator of them all, then Bhagavan, don't you think that you take some responsibility of the mess that people are taking, because you created the world and the people? He says, but viddhi akartaram. I, the self, am not the doer, because avyayam. I am unchanging, undecaying, unlimited and imperishable. This is a very, very powerful verse. And why? So you created everything. Don't you get bound by the actions of people? And having created such a messy world, don't you think that some punishment must come to you only, no? Bhagavan says, I created them all, but I am not the doer. And now Bhagavan will go to explain his divinity of action. Yeah? That in spite of being the creator of this world, and by whose presence the entire world functions, all the different types of people do their different actions, and even the good as well as the bad, but yet I am not the doer. Most amazing verses are now going to unfold. And the very first talk of Gurudev that I heard was on these verses. Yeah? first. And when I heard the explanation, and as Bhagwan unfolds, I will give the explanation more elaborately of these verses, connecting them with the next verse. And I remained completely stunned and recognized, whom do we call a person of knowledge? Not book knowledge, not informative knowledge, but of realization. My very, very first talk of Gurudev that I heard, discourse, was on these three verses. And I'll tell you tomorrow what doubt was lingering in my mind from teenage, and how the very first talk I attend, I get the proper insight, understanding into what these statements which we hear from childhood, how we have got misconceptions of its meanings, how we live our life also according to those beliefs, etc., not understanding tattvataha, the essence. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.